Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are going to be jumping back into another HYPERSCAPE video for you guys today. And in the last video, we went over the cinematic trailer, the official, first cinematic trailer that they did. And oh my god, that trailer was so good. And just being able to put that perspective onto this this game, this environment, and bring it to a real life setting was so cool to see. And that's essentially what we got with that cinematic trailer. It was just ultra heightened realism in terms of the other trailers we've seen so far, which was pretty much all gameplay. Going from that to seeing something almost looks like it could have been shot in in real life, real time. It was just I don't know, it was a breath of fresh air in some sense, but at the same time it just so crisp. And it looks like we might actually be watching the same thing here real quick. So I mean, we'll start it up, see what's going on. If it's the same thing, we obviously won't discuss it again, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Make sure this is on highest quality and we'll get right into things. So it's definitely the same video, it seems like, but yeah, just look how good this looks. So realistic compared to the other in-game footage.
That's not supposed to be there.
So cool.
Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions. We made some bad decisions. Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions. So, here we are. 10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities. But the people at Prisma changed everything. They gave everyone a way out. The HYPERSCAPE. In the HYPERSCAPE, the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone.
I didn't think about this when we were watching it last time, but this honestly low-key is giving Squid Games in some sense, except for they're put into this alternate reality rather than obviously being in some sort of locked off island where they're underground or in some sort of bunker with all these elaborate catacomby rooms and paths and all this sort of thing. Instead of that, you're more so in a game show, competing against other people in order to be the last one standing. Which, I mean, again, it's kind of the same idea of Squid Games, more or less. Rather than playing games, you're straight up just killing each other. But anyways. I love how right here in the first cinematic trailer they ever did, they were already setting up a mystery and a storyline that they could have been going with and following. And they definitely got into that a little bit more throughout the following seasons, but man, I really wish they would have been able to continue with it, because I was definitely very intrigued with this storyline.
A darker secret lies at the heart of HYPERSCAPE, and we have to find it. Some of us are searching for a way up. Some of us for a way out. And for others, a new way altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future. To the HYPERSCAPE.
So in some weird way, it's almost like the incentive to go ahead and do that is to escape all of the people around you. Look at how open this is compared to, the outside real reality where they were saying like, you know, the crushing weight of the mega cities, where you're literally just like piled on top of each other, kind of like it's, you know, New York City or some shit. Like you're able, it's almost like the incentive more so than becoming somebody or winning the actual game itself. The incentive was to be able to escape and essentially just, you know, get a bigger space to be able to run around in and actually enjoy yourself. But I don't know. That's just my interpretation of just what that was kind of showing, I guess.
Watch and learn how it's done. Perfecto.
Showtime.
That's mine. Let's show them what I'm made of. Go time. I got this. Watch closely. Here we go. Konotoshi.
That freaking Komodo, dude. So good. All right, so yeah, that was actually the second one. That one was pretty short. Not a whole lot to talk about there. We'll go ahead and mute it and go back over things just because it's like a minute long. But I think from the looks of it, they have like introduced a new weapon, which was probably the Komodo, which was like that L-Star, like Apex Legends type weapon, with the like the red energy, this thing. But yeah, no, I think that's what they were trying to show there as like the actual new weapon. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but then you got the freaking Riot 1, basically the freaking wingman from Apex. I already said that before in one of my other videos, but I was never good at using it. It did feel a lot easier to use than the wingman in Apex, for sure. But yeah, no, it was never really my cup of tea. I've never really been into like hand cannons, I guess. But yeah, that Komodo, the freaking area of effect on that thing was just insane. New weapon, new hack. I wonder if the new hack was the wall. I think that's what they were just showing there. Yeah. Yeah, dude put up the wall and then he pulls out the Komodo. Yeah, that's definitely what they were showing there. So yeah, I guess that's cool to see that was like the first weapon they ever added into the game. And also same with the hack. First new hack they ever added as well, which was the wall. Dude, I feel like the wall was so underutilized. Like you could literally sit on top of it, like you point it directly below you, and then you could raise yourself up, and then you'd basically be on this wall. And if say you got shot at, you could literally just drop off one of the sides, whichever you're not being shot at, and then you'd instantly have cover again. So it's like you could easily outplay somebody multiple different ways with that freaking wall. And it's not like it's like a permanent wall either. I think there was either like a certain health it had on it, or maybe even like a certain time before it would like deteriorate. Looks like we're watching this freaking trailer again.
In the hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there.
I wonder if maybe they ended up breaking it down and talking about it.
Okay.
But it seems like
years ago, everything that we feared about our future
oh yeah, they did.
True. We made some good decisions.
Okay, so I'll probably go ahead and end it there. Then we'll watch this one for the next video because they did do that breakdown, and then that'll probably be a video in and of itself just because they have a bunch of stuff to say about the breakdown analysis or whatever. So yeah, I'll go ahead and end this one off short. Or actually, I mean, honestly, man, I don't know. We're going on like 10 minutes right now. I might be fine. I thought we were going on a little bit longer here, so maybe I'll send it.
A lot of bad decisions. So here we are. 10 billion souls.
And as a matter of fact, we've already watched this back a couple times. But yeah, this is like what I was saying right here with all the like the crushing weight of all the mega cities. Like look at how densely populated this is. Literally like New York with all the fucking buildings on top of each other, multiple floors, probably thousands of people in a single building. type
10
shit.
billion souls living in the crush of the megacities.
Yeah. So like that's
But the
incentive
people of
enough to
Prisma
go ahead and go into this
changed everything.
Neo Arcadia Hyperscape and escape your reality. Like there's so many people around, you
They
really
gave
can't do any of the
everyone
things
a
you
way
want to be
out.
able to go do. Then you get this
The
alternate
Hyperscape.
reality which immediately allows you to expand
In
your
the
world.
Hyperscape, the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone. If you get
Ah,
good at
I
Crown
see what they
Rush,
did there. That was the slam
can
attack. I was
change
trying to
your
figure out
life.
what that was. Or maybe it was the shockwave attack too,
strange
because he
things have
freaking,
been happening
I don't know, he
lately.
flew in and he did like a ground pound thing though, so it definitely makes me
Rumors
think
of
more
people
slam
getting
than
hurt.
shockwave, but
users disappearing from the real world. A darker secret lies at the heart of Hyperscape, and we have to find it.
I just love that they were setting up
Some
like
of
a
us are
mystery. Like
searching
there's
for a way
definitely
out.
intrigue to be had in
Some
this
of us for a
storyline.
way out,
And they just didn't really
and
ever
for
go
others,
anywhere
a new
with it
way
effectively.
altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future, to the Hyperscape.
Like I said, they definitely dived into it a little bit.
I'm JC, Creative
Dive.
Director
Dove.
on HYPERSCAPE.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at Ubisoft.
For me, what's exciting is we started building it from scratch. Seeing it grow, adding ideas is really cool.
Hello, contender. Welcome to the Hyperscape.
The game takes place in 2054. It's in a future where humanity has grown a little darker. One of the companies there, they are launching what's called the Hyperscape, which is a virtual world and the internet of the future. It's the place where everything converges. Within the virtual world, there is a battle royale that takes place in the virtual city of Neo Arcadia.
So just real quick, this is something I've been wanting to bring up the past couple of videos and I just keep forgetting. But Hyperscape was one of those games where like it had live events similar to Fortnite, like things you could actually jump into game and go see, like that were happening. Like say, for example, just like I'd say the most obvious one in terms of Fortnite would be like when the meteor hit Dusty Depot and made it Dusty Divot. Like that's like the best example I could just say off the top of my head. Like you were able to go in and actually watch that in game. They had similar events like that in Hyperscape, and I feel like this game just didn't get enough coverage to where anybody covered any of them. And I think that's so crazy because I actually got to experience one of these events, and I unfortunately, this was before I ever decided to actually start making videos on the game. And like I said, because of me doing it on Twitch or whatever, I don't even have my footage that I did record in the first place. But yeah, the whole live event thing, apart from like the what do you even call them? Because there are different like live events, but they're like, I think they call them battle events is what they're called. Like the ones that you can actually go vote on through Twitch, which is why I actually started on Twitch in the first place. I was like, oh, okay, this game's integrated with Twitch. I might as well start on Twitch, and you know, if people start watching me, then they can vote on these events and, you know, affect my game. That would cause that a little bit more engagement, that sort of thing. That was my thinking there. And, you know, looking back on it, I wish I would have just started on YouTube in the first place, because then I would still have that footage. And yeah, it kind of bums me out there, but no big deal. No big deal. Hopefully it comes back very soon and we can go get plenty of footage.
Then we also introduce a lot of new things. You get the opportunity to do parkour on the rooftops, to go into interiors where it's much more narrow, much more stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more opportunities to get cool items, but also more players, so it's a risk-reward kind of deal. We introduce the notion of hacks, special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport yourself, you can wrap yourself into a ball and bounce around the battlefield.
See, and that's another thing I've also wanted to bring up a couple times now at this point, was the fact that unlike Apex, this game was very, very level playing field, if that makes sense. That probably was not the best way to put it, but like this game had a very, very level playing field, and like Apex, you could argue, does not have as level of a playing field because you know you have your character's set abilities or whatever, and you can't really change those on the fly throughout your match. You're set with those set like abilities and like the passives and all this junk that is tied to a specific character. HYPERSCAPE did not do that. They had the hack abilities, which you were able to actually go ahead and pick up and swap out on the fly and adjust your playstyle as needed. And again, that's one of those things I really, really just fucked with about HYPERSCAPE. Like, that was so, I'm not going to say innovative, because I'm sure there's, in some sense, games that have done that sort of thing, but in terms of a BR and having, like, abilities and that sort of thing, and just being able to swap that on the fly, rather than it being more like Overwatch, where your characters have their set abilities and, you know, they can only do this or that. It just made it that much better. Excuse me, my bad. Holy. I've been sick the past couple weeks, and I've had this terrible cough, which just will not go away. I've had this, like, fucking sinus infection and shit. Not a good time. So, yeah, all the talking is definitely drying out my throat a little bit and making it a bit rough, but we're good. And yeah, so I just really wanted to point out, like, this game was different from the other girls, as people have been putting it, in multiple different ways than just the live events that you were able to go ahead and vote on. Like, that people were acting like that was like the one main thing that made this game different, and there were so many things that made this game different, and there were so many different little innovations that, like, even after HYPERSCAPE got shut down, nobody has really even tried to do. Like, nobody's tried to do that decay effect. Nobody's tried to, like, let you stay alive technically after you die so that you can still, like, ping out enemies and stuff like that for your teammates. And they pretty much all just, like, you know, left you as a spectator and waited until your teammates could respawn you at, like, a reboot station or whatever. So, again, innovation on the respawn mechanic, innovation on the decay effect, aka the ring shrinking, just great changes, honestly. And then the looting being that as simplistic as it is, simply just have to go over to like a duplicate item and it'll fuse together and increase your weapon's stats. Phenomenal.
So a lot of abilities that let you have fun, that are toys that you can play with. Finally, it's made as a spectacle, so all the viewers will be able to interact with the game on different levels through the Twitch extension. So every few minutes, there's going to be a vote, and viewers will be able to decide what effect they want to affect the whole battle. So things like changing the gravity, infinite ammo, or stuff like that. So players, while this
low
happens,
grab
will
was
have
so
to adapt
broken.
to all kinds of stuff that is happening. So for me, it's really exciting because right now, as we speak, we're launching the open beta, and so it's going to be available for free-to-play for all PC players worldwide. And I really want to thank all the players, all the streamers, and all the viewers who participated in tech test and who will participate in.
So right there, you heard him say it. It released on PC first, and that is another giant downfall to this game. I think they should have released it on all consoles, all platforms, at the same time, and that would have given it the most possibility of succeeding. And then on top of that, they could have been closer to working out the whole like crossplay and that sort of thing, because I'm pretty sure even like up until the game was like fully dead, like up towards season 3 and they finally shut it down, I'm pretty sure they never figured out the crossplay thing, and it was pretty much simply just like, sure, you could play with Xbox to PC, and I'm pretty sure you could do, like, PlayStation to PC, that sort of thing, but I don't think there was any sort of, like, console crossplay, which was honestly just a big L, to be honest. Like, honestly, it might have even been, like, PlayStation had to play by itself, and then, like, you could still, like, do Xbox and PC, that sort of thing. I can't remember exactly how that worked, but I know that people were complaining about there not being crossplay, so that the lobbies were essentially like smaller. per console or per platform. That increased the queue times, that sort of thing. So it took forever to get into lobbies, especially towards like the final days of it. It would take like upwards of a half hour just to get into a game. Like you would literally have to sit there and wait for a game to end in order for another one to be able to be even populated, just because all those people, you know, get kicked out of that server and now they have to go find another one. But yeah, man, it's just sad to see how this game went down.
The open beta. Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Watch and learn how it's done. Perfecto.
Showtime.
Something else I just remembered, because I watched that person like slide through like one of these little like doorways. Something else I remembered is you could literally chain the movement together, kind of like it was Black Ops 3 Zombies. Like, you know how you can slide jump, chain it together and get around the map super quickly? You could literally do that in this game. You cannot do that in Apex. Let me just point that out.
That's mine. Let's show them what I'm made of. Go time. Watch closely. Here we go. この調子.
Yeah, man, like I said, it's just like, it's sad to see that this game strictly started out on PC, and I really do think that, I wouldn't even necessarily say incentivized its downfall, but it definitely increased the fact that it didn't last very long. It definitely didn't help the case. So I was actually just about to end off this video, and then I was going back to the footage here just to like see where we were at in the playlist, and I was like, oh wait, we're not even done with the video. Like, there's another minute here at least. So we're going to go ahead and finish off the video, and then we'll go ahead and end it off.
The digital world of the HYPERSCAPE gave our artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Ana Maria Musca is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
My name is Ana Maria Musca. I'm the production manager for characters and weapons on HYPERSCAPE. We have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our characters. We switch different outfits, different fashion statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them. This was the first lineup of characters. This is our default base, but even starting from the hair down, everything has been meticulously thought of. Would this person actually like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we plan to produce new outfits for these characters. So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game. We're very excited to see it in people's hands.
So something I want to say right here before it ends off, because I keep thinking about it, was I actually saw somebody that made a video and they were talking about how at no point during any of this game's like events or battle passes did they have FOMO, which is like, you know, obviously fear of missing out. Like they didn't know whether it was like just the skins were bad or if they just didn't like the character models in the first place to, you know, be matching the skins to and that sort of thing. Couldn't really like pinpoint it, but he just like, he had no point felt that fear of missing out. And I can kind of see where he's coming from, but at the same time, I liked the models. I didn't, you know, think that by any means the characters didn't fit the aesthetic of the game or anything like that. I do think that, you know, any battle pass, no matter what game it is, has, you know, bad skins. And then, you know, obviously it has its highlights. That's kind of the point of like a tier list in terms of like quality or rarity of skins. Like you have your uncommon, you have your legendaries. That's kind of the whole point. So like not every skin is going to be an absolutely goated skin. You're going to have your like common, your super basic skins, and then you're going to have these like phenomenal top tier looking skins. So I don't know. You can really interpret it however you want. Obviously, everybody has their own personal opinion. Not trying to throw shade towards anybody just because you don't like a character model or something like that. It's not a big deal, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end it off there. That's pretty much where that wraps up. I imagine it'll just kind of do the HYPERSCAPE thing now at this point, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and jump right into another one for you guys after we get this uploaded. And yeah, other than that, I'll say it in the end of every one of these videos. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the series so far, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to HYPERSCAPE, or the return of it, I should say. I am very, very excited, and I've said it in probably like that first video that I ever made, but I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the day that somebody finally decides to pick this project up and try to get it back out to the community, whether that's like an emulator or a client of some sort. Yeah, I knew that I was not the only one out there that liked that game this much. Like, I still to this day do not understand why, at the very least, they couldn't have kept the firing range open. Like, you can still download the game to this day if you owned it previously in the past. And it, as far as I can tell, there's no way to get farther than the press any button to start screen, which is essentially like your main menu before you get into any sort of like actual in-game stuff. So, yeah, pretty much the only reason to download it at this point is just to hear that like main music again of the lobby screen where we ended off in Season 3. Other than that, there's like basically no point. But what I was trying to get at there is I for no reason understand why they couldn't have given us the firing range at least. Like, in order to go ahead and screw around with the weapons and screw around with the hacks and the abilities, that sort of thing, and really just get a feel for what the game had to offer when it was, you know, up and going and available for everybody. I don't see why that, like, that firing range couldn't have been basically just, like, auto-installed to the base game rather than being, like, an online server, so to speak. I don't know. Like, there was no way to go into a firing range with anybody else in the first place. It was always a solo thing. So, again, I don't understand that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end it off there. Thank you guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.